The first success strategy is create value. Always work to provide leadership, direction, relationship, confidence, and creativity capability.
Okay, so create value. And what I hear is like from the perspective of if you work for the organization, how does someone who works for the organization create value for the company? We know obviously you create it for the customer, but how does someone create value for a company?
So have you ever hired? I know you have. So there's two types of people that you hire, right? I've hired a lot. You got to get good at it. But like you hire two types of people, and there's two people, the two types, there's one type that normally adds energy, and there's other types that take energy away. So you want to aspire to be the person that adds energy. And so when I say add energy, it's like, it's weird. Like I'll hire somebody and then I notice they just start sucking from me, or then I hire somebody and then they come around me and they energize me.
So what would be an example of a way that someone adds energy to when you work with them?
So they add value. So so for me, like me being an entrepreneur, when I came in as the team leader CEO of Indy Metro West, I was like, you guys you're paying me a salary, so I need to do enough work in order to cover that salary.
Yeah, that's right.
You add value, and then you're compensated for that value. And if you have that subtle shift in your mindset, that is in a corporate, you're rewarded for the hours and the time in your task. So then you can have that mindset, but in an entrepreneurial mindset, you have to flip it.
So what I think that's really important, because when you think about adding value, there's a massive mindset difference between the person who believes they get paid for the job and then the person who believes they get paid for the value they contribute to the organization.
Right.
Very, very different. When you contribute a massive amount of value to an organization, you systematically make yourself irreplaceable over time, which means you drive your own value up as a result.
Right. You can't leave.
That's right. And so the company does anything and everything they can for that person to stay. And ideally, they're driving the value of the company up simultaneously.
What I like about this is specifically in the book, they talk about having your batteries included or not. Like when you hire somebody, are they coming with batteries or not? So are they just interviewing well, and then they show up for work, but there's no batteries. And so it's kind of like what you were saying, Michael, are they just sucking energy? And then you have to basically drain from your battery to get them to do what they need to do, versus do they know what their unique talents and capabilities are to actually bring actual value.
I coach agents a lot, and for whatever reason, it makes me think of actually what we're looking at right now, which, for our YouTube listeners and viewers, sitting in front of a lake, and there's, it's a nice beautiful summer day, and there's people out on boats, right? And early in the morning, people ski and surf and wakeboard because the water is smoother in the morning time. And what I find too is that in the late summer, the boat gets like algae and barnacles and all this sediment built up on the bottom of it. And when you get that sediment build up and you get a couple skiers behind the boat, all of a sudden when you hammer on the accelerator, the boat doesn't drive very fast.
Drag coefficient.
That's right. And the driver is pulling those skiers and the barnacles and everything else that's weighing them down behind the boat.
Yep.
And that's what it feels like as an entrepreneur when you have people in your radius of influence that aren't creating value for the company, is you're pulling them behind the boat always.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've all been there.
And that's not sustainable. You can't, I think there's times in your business where you have to do that, but the job is to make it to where there's not, by partnering with people that add value, you've always got a shiny hole, and you're always out in the morning.
And if you're somebody who's looking for an opportunity, this is the thing that I think is interesting. If you're someone who's looking for opportunity, you add the value.
Yeah.
Knowing that everyone works for someone, regardless of where you are in an organization, even the CEO works for someone. They still have to contribute value to the organization in order to maintain an effective use of their job.
And to wrap up this success, do you guys have anything else you want to add about adding value? Otherwise, I was going to provide some action steps from the book.
Yeah, I like it. Let's do it.
Yeah, so there's four action steps that the book talks about that I really like. Always be looking for how you can produce faster, easier, cheaper, and bigger results. Pay attention to those activities that give you energy versus those that don't. Find new ways to be a leader, to provide confidence to others, and to be creative with your capabilities. And finally, bring your own energy and provide your own batteries.
Yeah, that one point about be a leader.
You just
Oh, good. Okay.
I think we both like bloop.
Man,
like even if you're the director of First Impressions, you are a leader.
That's right.
Everybody's a leader.
Yeah.
And when you don't perceive yourself in that light, you are not adding value.
Yeah. You know, and even if you don't have a title, you do have the ability to lead. It's whether you choose to or not. That, I think, is one of the biggest misnomers, that people don't understand the difference between an entrepreneurial company and a corporate company is title or no title, you are a leader by your influence on others. The fastest way to influence others, oftentimes without a title, is by taking action and generating outcomes that other people take notice of. Because people will follow you if you have no title at all, if you create massive value. Martin Luther King's a pretty damn good example of that.
Yeah.
No title, hell of a big movement.
Yeah. Well, and that's the opposite. That's the opposite of what what corporate, like they reward you for the titles, they reward you for like the task, where in an entrepreneurial, it's flipped. You go in, you lead, you get results, you are you're untouchable.
Yeah.